Good morning. Depreciation Worksheet PDF. Well, we are learning how to depreciate assets that we place in our business, and we cover multiple sessions. In fact, we cover the whole Form 4562, how to complete Form 4562 depreciation and amortization for 2020, and we are focusing our attention to Part 3, especially Section B, assets placed in service during 2020 tax year using the general depreciation system. We talk about classification of property, recovery period, convention, depreciation method. We talk about basis for depreciation, business and investment use. We have more video coming to go deep and covering more sessions here, but we like to summarize that part, and we have Depreciation Worksheet PDF. So to depreciate your business assets under the modified accelerated cost recovery system, you might use the general depreciation system. So you could depreciate using general depreciation system or the alternative depreciation system. So unless required, you might just be better off using the GDS. So there are a few things you need to know. The depreciation system you plan to use. So when you place an asset in the business for the first time, there are a few things you need to know. The depreciation system you want to use. Is it the alternative depreciation system or the general depreciation system? This worksheet does not teach you how to depreciate an asset. It just summarizes a Part 3, Section B for you. The property class life your asset belongs to. So that's the, I will consider that the useful life of the assets, but is more the column A, the property class that the assets is included in. And a lot of time, the property class life will equal the recovery period as well. So the date you place your asset in service. So that is the month and the year you have the asset ready to use in your business. You don't have to be using the asset right away to consider that place in service in the business. Once you have it ready to use, you place it in service. So you record that date that is really available. If you convert an asset, you used to use the asset for personal and you decided to use it for business, the date you made that conversion, it is the date you place it in service. That's the date you should record as well. It's available for business use. So you need to know the date you place an asset in service, because it's going to, there is a spot for it. Here they make it brown. They shaded that column for most of the property class life. You don't need to enter them here, but there is a worksheet that you should enter the dates and keep it in for your own record. And if you group assets or you are putting total, you have more than 5 year property, you have more assets, more than one asset in one property class, the date you place in service might be different. So the area, you have a worksheet you use and the date will go there, but it's good to know the date you place an asset in service, because it does come into consideration. It play a role how you depreciate the assets. So the basis for depreciation, it is the portion of the basis associated with the business and investment use of the asset deducted by any section 179 deduction and any special depreciation allowance taken. And the basis for depreciation will go on column C here after you took section 179 in part 1 and special depreciation in part 2 if you choose to elect them, to claim them. The recovery period associated with the class life your asset is in. So that's the number of years you will depreciate your assets. And believe it's in column E. No, column D, that's the recovery period. And usually they match for the first few years. The property class and the recovery period will be the same. So you need to know the property class for your asset, and you need to know the recovery period that you will depreciate the asset. And there is an appendix A at the bottom of publication 946 where you'll find the recovery period for your assets if the short lease, I believe 32. If the lease here you don't know which property class your asset belong to, and there is a description of assets. Description of assets, we covered that in other videos. So where you know the list of assets that are in 5-year property class and assets that are in 7-year property class. So once you know that they are the recovery period for them. But if you don't, then appendix A will be one to use, and we'll cover that in another video. So the type of convention, it is how many months you should depreciate the first year you place the asset in your business, and the number of months you should depreciate. You should depreciate it the last year you remove the asset from your business. So, and there are 3 options, including mid-month, mid-quarter, and half-year convention. But mid-month convention is for residential rental properties and non-residential real properties only. And mid-quarter and half-year convention are the one you will be choosing from most of the time. So choose the depreciation method. You have and when you know the convention, it goes on column E, and now you'll choose the depreciation method for column F. So you have the option between 200% DB, declining balance method, under GDS, 150% declining method, 150 dB, or straight line under GDS, and straight line method under ADS. And if you are using ADS, it will be section C, And if you are using GDS, General Depreciation Method, it will be section B that you will be completing. So depreciation amount to deduct. You could either calculate it or use the depreciation table at the end of IRS publication 946. How to depreciate property. Appendix A table can be used to locate the name of the depreciation rate table to use, and we'll cover that in a video, but I can show you appendix A. So once you know the recovery period, you know the depreciation method you will use, you know the type of depreciation system you will use, and you know the convention, you know the month or quarter you place the service in, you look in the right column table to find the table, the rates table name, and you scroll down to locate the table name, and that's where you will find the rates that you will use. We'll cover that in another video. And appendix B is way down, is table B1 and table B2. If you don't find your assets class, you don't know in which asset class your asset is, there is an appendix B at the bottom of all the tables that has table B1 and table B2, where you locate the assets and come back to find the table rates you will use. It is covered in another video as well. But yeah, we do have this worksheet just to summarize what the different elements that you need to keep in mind when you place an asset in service, so that you can keep a good record of those information. That way, at the end of the year, when it's time to file your business tax return and you need to depreciate an asset, you will easily calculate the right amount to deduct. The worksheet comes with depreciation deduction by assets. It comes with business asset depreciation sheets, and it is used by assets, and pretty much it is a way to keep a record of your assets. And it might be you don't need to complete it line by line, but you could put the date you purchase. You first put the asset name, the date you purchase it, and the date you place it in service, the amount it costs you, the business you use. If that's 100%, you put 100%. If it's not, then the investment use portion, the personal use portion. So, and later on, when you are going to calculate the depreciation, you'll fill up, you'll complete all the sheets, and you'll have the basis for depreciation at the bottom. At the bottom of the sheet, and we have the line to help you know how the formula works, what you should add. For instance, line 13 is line 11. Line 13 is total percentage of business and investment you use, and it equal that equals line 11 business use percentage plus line 12 investment use percentage, and that will go on line 13. And cost of business use, line 16 equal market value or basis, line 15 times line 11 business use percentage, and so forth. So that's how the worksheets works, and that's by assets. And we do have a code on top as well. And then once you know the depreciation, the basis for depreciation, you have the depreciation deduction by asset sheets, where you put the asset name, the depreciation for depreciation, the basis for depreciation, which you previously calculated at the bottom. On line 20, you will included on top, and the asset name as well, and you have the recovery years, the rate. Once you find the rate on the publication 946, is not going to be included with the worksheet. You have to find it on the publication 946, and you'll be able to calculate the depreciation amount or the depreciation deduction, which will be the basis on top times the rates in column 2. We have column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and column 5. And the total depreciation here in column 3, once you total all of column 3, you could write it on top here, depreciation amount total, and it should be the total basis for depreciation as well when you calculate it right. So for year 1 is going to be the basis times rates that you'll have online for year 1, and for year 2 is going to be the basis on top times the rates on year 2. That's how you'll calculate it. You'll go take the full basis times the rate that is associated for the year you are calculating it for. And the depreciation balance is pretty much is going to be taking the basis for depreciation minus the depreciation that you are taking, and as you go down, it's going to take the total of the depreciation taken out of the depreciation, out of the basis for depreciation, and by the end of the number of years you depreciate the assets, the depreciation balance should be 0. And the column 5 is for the tax year. So the first year will be 2020, 2021, 2022. Is good when you find the rates in the rate table. You write it all down and you calculate the depreciation amount for all the year and the tax years that you will be taking that. So we have an example that comes with the worksheet. And assuming we only place one asset in business and it was half year, we complete the worksheet, and the assets, the basis for depreciation is 1,000, and we complete depreciation deduction by asset sheet as well once we locate the rates, which will show you in a video how to find the rate for the assets you wanted to depreciate. That's why the summary is good. You know what you need, and those are the important things that you need to know when you are depreciating an asset. To find the rate, you have to know the recovery, the depreciation system you wanted to use. You'll know the recovery period because when you go to Appendix A, you need to know the recovery period, the convention, the depreciation method you want to use, the quarter or month you place the asset in service, and then you'll find the rates in the right column of Appendix A on, I believe, page 69 or 70, publication 946. So you'll find the rates, and rate A1. When we locate the rates A1, we copy down, and it's an asset, a laptop. So the laptop has 5-year property class, so you'll depreciate it in 6 years pretty much, because you'll take a half year, so you'll take half, you'll depreciate a half year the first year and half year the last year. So you put all the rates down, and we are using, if you can go back, we are using 200% depreciation, and we'll cover all of that in another video. But we have that example. So we have the recovery period, we have the depreciation method we wanted to use, we have the GDS we want to use, the asset class is here, and any, so we put it in service in February, so we will use A1. So it's a half year convention, and A1, table A1 is the first table, and when you come down to the first table, is 5-year property we are depreciating. So you look at the year row, so that's 5-year. So you'll copy down these rates. That's why we copy down, and then we calculate the depreciation. So you'll notice that it goes to 6 years. You'll depreciate in 6 years. And then we just calculate it, and we know right away that we'll depreciate it all the way to 2025. So once you know that you are going to keep the asset for business 100%, you can just calculate the depreciation deduction for all the years and have it set. That way you have the assets information on your business asset depreciation sheet. You have the depreciation deduction by asset as well attached to it, and you have it in your business binder, business file. And every year when you are going to complete your business tax return, you just pull the year you are going to file for to find the depreciation deduction for the assets that you have been depreciating. So that's one way to keep a record of your business assets. And we have the worksheet available for purchase at liberdownload.com. The links is going to be in the description. Thank you so much for your time. We have a video playlist, 2020 Form 4562 Depreciation and Amortization, where we have all the videos on how to complete Form 4562, and the videos will help you determine how to depreciate an asset. The worksheet is now going to teach you that. The worksheet is just a summary of a small part of the depreciation section B. Is a key element to take away from here, and the videos in the playlist goes in detail how to complete Form 4562 and how to depreciate an asset. And we have multiple videos that will be in that playlist to help you know exactly how to depreciate a business, any asset you place in your business. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you all that subscribe to our channel, and thank you for all your comments. Thank you for watching our podcast, and thank you for reading our blog. We do have a category how to depreciate a business asset as well at ninasoup.com, where we'll have articles related to Form 45CC2 as well. Thank you so much for your time. And if you are looking for Form 45CC2, we have free download session on ninasoup.com, where you locate links to Form 45CC2 under 2020 Federal Forms and Instructions. I'm Afiavi Ochune Lieberman, creators of Lieberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, Lieberman Consulting L.L.C podcast, and ninasoup.com, our blog. We do have our digital product store, liberdownload.com. We have resell products at liberoutlets.com, custom apparels at liberlabel.com, and natural products at ninasoup.com. Thank you.